Welcome to Classic Car Cave. So we've been down to Hungary. It was an extremely long day. We started at 5 in the morning. It's a good 3-hour drive from here, but we had the unhanger or the car trailer because I had to pick up my jig, which they're finished with now. And unfortunately that's limited to 80 kilometers an hour, but the roads in the back roads in Hungary are terrible. They're really potholed, very, very poor condition. There is a little bit of faster road, but no real kind of motorway. Anyway, so we were 3 hours, I drove there 3 hours and 3 hours back, and we had quite a long day as well, so we didn't get back till after 10 o'clock at night, so we were pretty goosed by it. So today's been a bit of a recovery day. You know, I am 67 and it's not the kind of thing you want to be doing every day, that's for sure. So we have had a few issues, which I will go over at some point, but I don't think this is the right time to do it. The car is now back together, as you'll see in the video, and they're now going to do some finish some body working on it, finessing, and then paint it, and then we'll see how it goes from there. And I'll obviously do a video on that when we go down, because we have to put the doors back on and a few other bits and pieces. And as I said, there was a few issues, but it's probably not the right time to do it. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully they rise to the occasion and we get a really good job out of it. Yeah, and I'll let you know in some future video exactly what issues we had. But as I said, I don't probably think it's appropriate right now. We'll see what happens. So I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so this is all the nuts and bolts that are going into the rear wings, and washers and spacers for the doors. So you can see it's just been pushed through, so I'll do the job. Some washers have been done on the other side now. That should be okay. There we go. And these are the washers that we use for the wings. It's a bit missing there, but it'll be alright. Let them dry up a bit. And these are the spacers for the doors, so you can see this is bottom left, top right, bottom right. And obviously we need to keep the spacers together because we know the doors are perfect with these spacers on them. So let's see. They're done top and bottom. Doesn't matter about the writing inside, and they're a little bit. They were corroded, but we had to sandblast them. But they're being sandwiched in the doors, so it shouldn't be a problem. So we're getting the chassis a bit of a clean up, tied up. It was very dusty. So this is the drumming material we're putting on the sides, and that's how it fits along that line. And then this piece goes in between, and nothing goes in the front because it's the wood, and then you put it onto the wood. Then there's this on the back of the tank, which goes up against the body, and that's it. The only other padding is the bit that goes onto the wood floor, and I'll show you where that is relative to in the car. So under here, so this is where this hole here is to actually get hold of the shock absorbers, this hole, but all that's sitting against the tank in here. That's everything glued down on the chassis. This is to stop drumming here. It's all glued down there on the tank. It's all glued on. Same down the other side. And as I said, there's actually a piece to go in here. This is the adjuster for the torsion bars here. There's a piece to go in here, but the wood floor sits on there, so we'll actually attach it to the wood floor before we put it in. And got it off the jig now. So this is the rear wings. They're painted obviously on the inside. Now that's not obviously the paint job on it. It's going to be rubbed back down and redone. But obviously there's flanges on the end we had to paint, and the flange that goes inside, so up to about here somewhere. So that's all going to be cut back and redone once we put the caulking in, or not the caulking but the stripping. And this is the stripping here. You can see. So this is a early chassis. I think it's an earlier chassis because you can tell by the single cable there going to the brakes. This obviously has got the overdrive, you can see it there. This is the overdrive system in it here. Yeah, I think this has been an earlier car, and I think the later models they changed the system to 2 single cables. Whether that was because, you know, you had to dump the whole cable if one was knackered, instead of using, you know, having one for one side and one for the other. I mean, for instance, if that frayed or it snapped, the whole thing's useless. Whereas with that now, you can change one. Maybe that was the reason they did it, maybe not. Maybe I'm being too logic here, I don't know. But I think this is an older, this is a newer chassis. Although there's nothing different with them, all the chassis are exactly the same. Just a few little odds and ends. You can see obviously this is original Moss box. These are the dipsticks here. Original Moss box, but just with no overdrive unit. And this one's got the overdrive unit, and you can see the solenoid there on the back, Lucas, Prince of Darkness. Yeah, so, and the fuel line, banjo unit up to the carbs, going down through there. These had single pumps on them, and the S specification cars had twin pumps. Why that was, I don't know. Maybe they were bad for sticking the points, and they always thought, well, paying extra money for an S, I suppose you should make sure it doesn't break down so often. But you can see where it goes through. It goes through the chassis there and up into the tank. We've already got that in place, but not the fuel line, but we can get to that on my ramp, so that's no sweat. So I'm back in Zoltan's workshop. So this is that Ford, I don't know what type that is. This is nice, it's a Bentley Enage. Very nice inside. I think it's a client's car. Lovely inside there. Look at that woodwork in there. That is the nuts. Very nice. Beautifully appointed. Oh, I don't know what age that would be. It's an Enage though, I'm sure it is. Bentley Enage. A lot of car for what they cost these days now. 6 3/4 litre. Holy shit. You can keep that thing in juice. Look at it. The body on it's good. A lot of car. But not a lot of money these days, I have to say. You can pick up one of these for not a massive amount. For what they cost new and for what went into them. Yeah. The one I always fancied was the Turbo, Bentley Turbo R, because they are extremely good price and they are a lot of motor car, the Turbo R, but finding one that's spot on. But they're out there, so I think that's had the facelift grille on it. That looks like it, is that the one that goes down? Oh, it must go down into the, nice car though. Bentley, lamp seats, super. Yeah, got a few interesting things. That's quite nice, this old, how's that open? Oh. Oh, nice. Oh, suicide. Oh, not suicide doors, but there's nothing in them. Nice though, nice car. Probably hand advance on the timing and throttle and yeah. Oh, God, look at that. That is old technology. That's well before my Citroen. That's got to be 1920 something. 25, 26, I don't know. Gorgeous car though. Right, so that's it. So the wings are back in place. It's all bolted down to the chassis. Obviously they have to cut all that back now. But all that ribbon is good on the side. And you see, I'm doing some kind of drawing on my car. profile or whatever. Fuck what to do with my car, but whatever. It's all in. A couple of minor bolts to address, but that's about it. So, hey, not impressed with that, using it as a fucking whiteboard. Not for that kind of money. Anyway, it's on, it's done. And you've got to paint it. So, as usual, stay safe, keep the faith and enjoy your hobby.